Hey there, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well today. Thanks for tuning back into my video. I want to talk to you today and address something that is kind of good news, I think, in regards of getting a response with questions about this tune that I had on my car. Long story short, I reached out to EcuTek, and that was about a week and a half ago. And I guess they're dealing with the virus stuff too, and have been closed and back in the office. But long story short, they've kind of given me some insight on the tune and what might be happening. So I encourage you to read. I'm going to post my email response, initial response, and then their email response, and then my response back. And I'm going to get another response hopefully here shortly from him with the updated. I took the tune off and I sent four data logs to them just so they can see again, with the tune taken off the car, just to see if everything looks good. So I think this is positive. You need to read the emails if you have attention span deficit disorder. Or you just can't, you're not following this thread, it's not important to you, then go ahead and just tune off now. I don't mean to be mean or sound negative, but this is gonna have a lot of emails in it, and they're not one sentence emails. So if you're just not interested in this, or you don't have the attention span to read, then go ahead, like I said, and click off. But if you are interested, and you are possibly, have your car tuned and you're running into some problems, the newer cars, if you are going to get a car and you're thinking about getting tuned, it may be helpful for you just to read some of my problems and read the response from EcuTek that designed the software that the tuners are using. There's some helpful information in these emails. And so I encourage you to read them. I may read them while I show them. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Read this, follow my videos, and we'll get to the bottom of this. And so I hope you're having a good day, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Brian, and I got a new 2019 Infiniti Q50S 3.0T tuned at EcuTek Motorsports here in Dallas, Garland, Texas, USA. Got tuned at the end of December 2019. Since then, I've had nothing but problems after problem, where I've gone back in person for tuning revisions, and my car is still showing signs of problems. The reason I went with EcuTek is that they are local to me, and they would dyno tune my car on the spot, where I was told they would dyno tune it and it would be perfect and nothing more would be needed. This versus remote tuning, which is back and forth emailing. I've been back 3 or 4 times now, and like I've said, they seem to be out of patience with my situation. My car since January 2020 with their tune has been throwing DCT codes often, and one major engine check engine light with overboosting, PCM, and over 100 TCM transmission codes. I am seriously considering that my car could be damaged to some degree due to the tuning, but I signed a document with EcuTek that they are not liable for tuning my car and it being damaged during that process. Can you advise me what to do? EcuTek Motorsports is very hard to get a hold of by phone, even without this worldwide coronavirus pandemic. And now Seth, their tuner, is not responding to my 2 different emails with data logging information. They are working there in the shop, but by appointment only, likely for the Lamborghini, McLaren, Porsche, and GTR folks. I am going to include 2 data logs from April 9th, 2019, and just one TCM report that I got. Seems they turned down the sensitivity on the knock sensors during this last retune, but that doesn't mean that there's not a knock issue. But ignition timing seems to be being pulled almost 100% of the time I'm driving around town. I don't think this is normal. Also, my car is showing something like 26 to 29 flash counts on my car's ECU over the last 3 months. Respectfully, Brian. Thanks for the email. Can you give me more details on the car, like the types of modifications you have done and what the exact issues other than the overboost code and the TCM DCT codes are? Can you confirm that the CELs is only on when the overboost code is red? TCM DCTs appear on the newer 19 plus cars. At this point, it appears that there is a newer DCT clearing command we don't know about, and the response is misread by our software and shows up seemingly random DCTs. Basically, as far as we can tell, so far the DCTs are only read out incorrectly by Pro ECU and ECU Connect, but not by Nissan Tools, and there is no associated CELs, just codes when read with our tool. Have you ever seen a check engine light with warnings related to the TCM? If not, could probably keep an eye on them, but not worry. We need to get some logs of the DCT clearing mechanism from the Nissan Consult tool to see what Nissan have changed and make sure we are doing the correct thing. If there are CELs related to TCM or CELS without any other codes other than TCM ones present, it could be different. Overboosting on the VR30s is most prominent on gear shifts, and this is due to the lack of relief valves. At stock boost levels, the issues are present, but the ceiling quite high. At high boost levels, it's more likely the boost will be over a target for longer, etc. after shifts. It is also hard to get 100% correct with these cars, as they respond slightly differently on the road to on the dyno. Unfortunately, the only way to solve this is with tuning, and EcuTek would be responsible for this. However, you are not locked or restricted to EcuTek. If you have another dealer close or think you could trust another tuner, they may be able to help you, though we won't be able to start from EcuTek's file unless they give permission or supply the file unlocked to you. Most tuners are happy to do this. This said, you can easily change tuners if you feel the situation is unworkable. You don't have to talk to EcuTek other than to request an unlocked file if you want it. Newer tuner would likely want to start from scratch. I can see a few degrees of knock retard at light loads in your first log you had sent through. The cause of light load knock can be anything from pre-ignition, from incorrect oil choice, LSPI, to exhaust components hitting chassis, etc. And it's up to the tuner's experience on the platform to judge whether it's real or to judge whether it is real and concerning, or if it's okay to tune out. Keep in mind that ignition correction is different from knock correction. The ignition correction parameter is the multipliers and additions to the target ignition for intake air temperature charge, air temperature, and other things like coolant temp, baro, current lambda, etc. So it is not uncommon to see constant negative or positive numbers. I can see in your log that the ignition correction numbers sit low but go high, whereas knock correction occasionally goes off, as it should, but doesn't stay consistently low and quickly learns the timing back in when it's under load, which is OEM strategy to keep it safe. When it comes to the number of flashes, etc., our cars has thousands of flashes and be bricked and unbricked many times, so there is no need to worry about the number of flashes the ECU has taken. 30 flashes for a car that has come back with issues is not unusual and shows that they have been working hard trying different settings and making adjustments where you have brought the car in. Please give EcuTek some extra time to deal with the queries and tuning issues. I am sure that they are very understaffed and restricted in what they can and can't attend to during the virus lockdown. At the moment, I would recommend contacting EcuTek again to politely push for some acknowledgement, even if not a response, and then see when they can schedule you in next to look at the overboost issue. If you can repeatedly get the code to come up, it would be best to see if you can get them in the car and show them when and where it happens. If I can offer any assistance in any ways, please let me know. Regards. Just to make note, don't harsh on me. I've always been a horrible writer and I got horrible grades in English. So don't be harsh on me. Okay. I am very happy that you got back to me on my request. I want to resolve this and make sure my car runs great. With the DCT reports and logs I sent you, it's on my 2019 Infiniti Q50S Signature Edition and has these accessories modifications completed. Car before tuning had 3,000 miles and now today 5,180 miles, so about 2,000 miles tuned. At first, I have Mishimoto oil catch can. Second, Berger Motorsports heat exchanger. I installed it after a lot of research, used Nissan Blue coolant, and vacuum filled using refill tool from this address on Amazon. Number 3, EcuTek Motorsports 93 octane tune. The car at the time of tuning had 3,000 miles on the odometer, and before getting it tuned, I replaced the oil with USA-made Quaker State SAE 5W30 Ultimate Durability Full Synthetic, and it contains the Dexos approved Gen 2, meets or exceeds ILSAC GF API SN plus API SN. As for the code situation I sent you, I saw my first DCT reports code, the 5 I sent you, and one with the overboost condition PCM alert that threw the check engine light. This happened on February 24th after getting EcuTek's latest tune revision. I did 3 runs that morning. First, 20 to 120 miles per hour ish. Run the car seemed to be all go good. Second run, the attempt was interrupted when the car abruptly cut out while accelerating well into third gear and aborted the run. Turned around after 3 miles and then waited 5 minutes to assess and allow the car to cool down. Then I attempted the run number 3. Run 3 encountered the abrupt shutdown of power again, fourth gear, 96 to 99 miles an hour. I just let off the pedal and coasted from there until the traffic light. Note this third run at the cutoff point of the run is when the check engine light came on. Then I drove immediately 20 minutes directly to EcuTek Motorsports shop to troubleshoot. Car drove fine, driving easy. At that time, Seth, their tuner, was in Hawaii tuning customers' GTRs. Owner not around either. Only thing I could do was to clear the engine light and save the codes. Car continued to drive fine. I did not race the car after that. I had to continue my job that requires me to drive. A week to 2 weeks went by before EcuTek and Seth could get me in and look at my tune. He retuned the car to get rid of the overboosting PCM alert, but the car continued to show TCM reports with 17 to upwards of 30 TCM codes. With the TCM codes, EcuTek doesn't know what to do with them. No answer and no solutions. The car since then, in 3 other intentional 100% throttle hard pulls, has displayed more TCMs but did not activate the car's dash warning light. This unusual situation has had me worried. After all this, I proceed to take the car into the Infiniti dealership and tell them the car's transmission is acting quirky, and can they look it up and see if anything comes back wrong with it. Just a test to see if they see codes and can maybe diagnose if my transmission has been harmed. An hour goes by and they bring it back to me and say everything looks good. I continue to drive it, and during normal use, everything performs as expected until I push the car with the tune installed. I got that last DCT TCM report I included to you, and I'm thinking I need to remove my tune. Instead of dealing with this and potentially damaging my car, I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to have EcuTek remove their tune on April 11th. My thinking is run the car and see if it runs better in regards to ignition timing being pulled, knock retarding, and TCM codes. Since removing the tune, I can't monitor knock and ignition timing where it is being displayed differently now, showing actual timing down to -11 gear shifts to plus 33 versus the -4, -3, -2, -1, 1, 2, 3, 4 with the tune installed. I'm going to provide 4 fresh data logs with the EcuTek with their tune removed. 3 of them I'm pushing the car through the gears, and 1 casual driving around the neighborhood. Please look and see if things are as normal or as far as you can tell from the info I have provided. Thanks for your insight in regards to the 2019 year model having some different software developed, which looks like it's causing those transmission related codes. So far, the car is running its OEM software with no further codes coming up on the EcuTek cell phone app. Thank you. In regards, Brian Thornhill. Okay, so with that information that reported to me from the EcuTek technician, the 2019 has some different software on it, and it's creating those TCM TCM transmission codes that I saw, between 15 and 30, overheating, wrong gear ratio, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gear, circuit problems, all kinds of problems. And that had me freaking out. My transmission's busted. And then the addition of what come to find out, there were torque limiters or something that got checked in the software, speed limiters. So when my car was hitting certain speeds while I was running the car maximum, throttle, maximum boost, and my car was shutting down, abruptly shutting down. And then I'm getting transmission codes. That just threw me for a loop. I thought I was destroying my transmission. I was like, the transmission can't handle this power and this torque. So that was the perfect storm. And so it seems that the transmission codes are nothing to worry about. And this has been my whole worry, and my whole problem was that I was damaging my car. The overboost was handled really quickly, and it never came back, so that's not a problem. So, you know, it looks like EcuTek is doing a good job. I just may address you know, the spikes when the gear changing is happening, and make sure that's under control. And they can do that through the tuning with the wastegate, you know. And if they can't manage that and they don't have that knowledge with the Q50 to manage to go in and change the parameters for the wastegate, then looks like I'll have to go to another tuner. But like I said, I've got $1,300 invested with EcuTek, and if they can get the tune, you know, just fine tuned in those areas that need to be addressed, then there's no reason for me to go spend another $600 with another tuner. And it's not that EcuTek is horrible, and you know, they are obviously a world-class tuner. And you know, they may not have tuned 50 Q50s, but they have probably tuned, you know, 10 to 15 Q50, Q60. So, you know, I'm not saying they're the greatest tuner or the worst tuner. So we'll just leave it at that. Hopefully I can get this resolved. And if I can't, then, you know, I'm going to look at some of the tuners that a bunch of you have recommended. So again, I appreciate everybody's responses. You know, I take everything, you know, and I pay attention to it, and I enjoy people responding again, and you know, we'll just leave it at that. So have a great day, and appreciate everyone watching another video, and look forward to more videos that I can produce. Okay, thank you.